So let's talk about all the merge-tastic traits. Either they got a buff or a nerf. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Let's do this. Let's start first with the noble traits. Honestly, it got a buff since Prince did got a little bit of a rework, and honestly, is doing a bit more damage now, which overall I think is actually a great idea because Prince doing more damage now it's going to actually become a more of your sub DPS. And then of course, including with the Musketeer is honestly pretty good to basically balance out. And if you don't have a wizard or electro wizard to basically to stun or to like stop magic, then honestly using the Musketeer is honestly pretty good. Now, in my opinion, I honestly think that the Juggernaut synergy, it actually got it better because the Valkyrie is actually a pretty good replace against the P.E.K.K.A, okay? Even though P.E.K.K.A does great, decent damage, it's lag with the hit speed, and I feel like Valkyrie is one of those troops I feel like no matter what, it's always going to be pretty good. So I think having Valkyrie as a Juggernaut is honestly a better idea than having a P.E.K.K.A as a Juggernaut. And for them to switch roles, I'm honestly completely fine with that. So I think Juggernaut overall got it a buff. It's crazy to say this, but honestly, if you really think about it, the clan synergy actually got it a nerf. And I feel like, again, it's because of Valkyrie. Because since Valkyrie is not Avenger anymore, it's honestly going to make a difference between the Bandit, Valkyrie, and Archer Queen combo. You can't do that combo anymore. You had to use the Archer Queen with something else, like the Witch, or the P.E.K.K.A, or Electro Giant, and that's the reason why. So you're basically just changing up the clan traits with this. So I think overall clan, the trait itself is honestly got a nerf, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I still think it's going to be a pretty good trait to use, and overall it's going to give you great value no matter the cost. I'll be real, it's really hard to say if the Ranger got a buff or a nerf, because it did got a nerf because now they split the trait. Instead of 3 troops it has to be 2 and 4 troops. So yeah, that's basically a nerf because now you can't really use, Archer, Dark Gauntlet, and Princess anymore. But at the same time, it could be a buff because now you could just use Skeleton Dragons and Archer as your 2 elixir and still get the Ranger trait. So that's where you could say that's a buff right there too. Maybe you don't want to get Princess because it's a bit too expensive, and maybe because you don't want to use Dark Armor at the moment, but you're going to use Dark Armor later. Then honestly, if you really want to think about it, I feel like if you are going to get the trait itself, then honestly just do the Skeleton Dragons and the Dark Gauntlet, because one, Dark Gauntlet got a range buff, making it even more powerful, and then you got the Skeleton Dragons, which a 2-star and a 3-star is honestly a pretty great value, especially if you keep on splitting its health and more. Honestly, DPS wise, it's going to be really annoying really fast. And of course, for the Goblin trait, I definitely would say that it's got a buff. Again, Dark Goblin got a range buff, so overall, in making the Goblin trait more powerful. Now, I do say it's still a pretty weak trait to use. That's why I always go to a 2 trait. That's just me. I only go 2 troops when it comes to doing this, never 4, okay? If I need to go 4, I will do it. But most of the time, especially where I am now on trophies wise, I don't think I really need to actually get the 4 trait. So honestly, just go to a 2/4 Goblin trait, and honestly you should be fine. But Dark Goblin is definitely way more better now. Now, Assassin, I definitely would say that Assassin has definitely got a buff. I think Bandit overall is annoying. Dude, the amount of times I've seen people using it because a Bandit itself, super annoying. If you get a Bandit, a 3-star Bandit with Assassin, it's such a crazy combo to use. I hate it, I really do hate it, but you cannot blame it. It's super good. It basically make Assassin trait super good, and just getting the 2 is honestly pretty good. Now, I really think I would about to say Assassin, but Ace trait is honestly got it a nerf. Now, not a lot of people are talking about it at the moment, but the reason why I say it got it a nerf is because by the description itself, now Ace only buff ace troops. Ace used to buff any troop that is your strongest troop, but now it doesn't do that. It only buffs the strongest ace, and that's where the issue comes, because now it's not going to give you as much value. If, let's say for example, you got a 3-star Royal Ghost, it's not going to, or basically it's not going to buff your ace, that ability to your Royal Ghost. No, it's just going to buff the, like, your strongest ace. So let's say for example, you only got 1-star ace troops, then it's going to buff, one of your 1-star ace troops, and that's be it. It sucks because I really think that they shouldn't actually talk about this more, but they didn't really. And honestly, they just did it like that just so they can update our troops that just become way better. So honestly, I really think that Ace trait, the trait itself is honestly not that good anymore. No, I feel like Avenger trait is honestly one of those trait that it's really hard to say if it's going to get a buff or a nerf, which is pretty good. The issue is most of the time I do face with which you need to get it at least a 3-star, a 2 or a 3-star, because if you don't spawn skeletons, honestly, I think without the skeletons, it's pretty suck, okay? But you get the Avenger trait, now honestly, I think it's pretty good. It sucks because you got Archer Queen and you got the Witch that normally don't work really together, especially for Avenger trait. So it's really hard to say if it's going to be a roll buff. It really depends which troop is getting buffed, which one is the last man standing, honestly, or last woman standing, just in case. So if it's P.E.K.K.A, I honestly think it's a slight buff, but if it's Electro Giant, it's going to be a nerf no matter what. Now, I know this is a hot take, but I think the undead trait is probably, like, top 3, honestly. Especially where we are now. So, you got the skeleton dragons are pretty good for only 2 elixir. You got giant skeleton basically doing double the damage on his death bomb. And that's really annoying. And then the witch itself, which, of course for Avenger trait, it's not too well. But you're using it as an undead. I honestly think it's pretty strong no matter what. And then, of course, if you do get 6 troops, which at the moment is 5, if they do get another, undead troop, then honestly, I won't even lie to you, I think it's going to be one of the strongest one, no matter what. Now, for the Brawler set, I definitely would say, is overall, it's a buff, okay? Again, Prince got a buff, and then you get the Giant Skeleton, got a great buff from his death damage, a death bomb. So overall, it's a buff no matter what. I want to apologize first, because the constant pausing, dude, I've been sneezing too much, honestly. I don't know what's happening. Probably got a running nose, but Blaster set, I definitely say overall, again, is a buff, especially for the baby dragon. Dude, that is super annoying, getting the blaster trait and making it more stronger. Honestly, it already does a lot of damage, but you put that with a fire trait and also the blaster trait, dude, it's annoying, okay, no matter what. But it's super good. Even you're not using the baby dragon, using the musketeer is also pretty good too. Now for the fire synergy, fire trait, my bad, I definitely say overall it's pretty good. I don't think it's OP, but if you do get troops grouped together, oh my gosh, it's doing so much damage, man. It really is so much damage. And honestly, for the mage, it's super annoying. It really is annoying when you get one of your strongest troop basically turn to a rabbit for 7 seconds. They could turn to side, like in the fight, honestly. So it gets really annoying that. And then for the Electro, I definitely would say that if you do got your Electro Wizard, like a 2-star, 3-star, just something it could keep on stunning a lot, it's gonna be annoying. Okay, no matter what. And then of course for the electric, I think it does like all enemies minus 15%. Lightning strikes all enemies as 1 stun troops. Yeah, it honestly gets really annoying when that happens. So that's all the merge tactic traits that happen, either nerf or buff, or honestly, I really don't know if it got a nerf or buff. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Again, I apologize for pausing the video so many times. Dude, I kept on sneezing, man. My bad. Have a great day.